Welcome to Conversation with Haych, and we are here with another amazing guest, Let me just give you a little intro, just a little one, good one, but a little one. An elite award-winning host and DJ over 20 plus years. He's also a resident on BBC One Extra, resident DJ. He shut down main stage at Metro Fest 2.5 hours, He weren't even meant to do that, but we'll get onto that in a minute. You get me? He has toured and hosted for the likes of Lethal B, Faith Evans, Teardra Moses, Kevin Hart, Tank, plus many more. He's an entrepreneur, co-founder of the sound system Sweetboy Entertainment. He also runs his own radio station, which is coming out in November, which is Reach London Radio, as well as the director for the youth organisation Whole Programme. The host of Milktray Sunday Service. He's got ITV's Lorraine Kelly shouting about him. He's the husband to Mrs. Ryan. He's a father to the Mini Milk twins. Some of you know him as Milks, but a lot of us know him as DJ Milktray. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, family. Oi, listen, man done some proper research.
I had to.
I love that, man. When I do my interviews, I don't.
So for those who don't know who you are, who is Milktray? And who is the guy away from the DJ, the host?
The guy away, Martin. Martin Wright is he's the son of Verona and Kingsley Wright. And a very family orientated person. Been blessed to have just the most amazing family around me, like from all sides. Not, some people have a preference or they're more close with their pet, like mom's
side rather than dad's side.
It's even. Like just like we were saying off camera. You know what I mean? Like my mom's side family's kind of more Birmingham that way, but we're real tight. And then my dad's family's London and that, we're real tight. And then, just other sets of cousins and that, we're all tight. So yeah, that's me. I'm a bit of a nerd.
Nerd?
Yeah, like I'm a bit of a geek. I love phones.
Okay.
I do all that kind of stuff, the YouTube reviews, I watch all of that stuff. I'm an 80s retro kid as well.
Yeah.
So I just started kind of collecting old Transformers.
Swear.
Yes, I just recently got like my first collector's item of Optimus Prime, the original one in the original box.
Swear.
Yeah, gassed. Fully gassed.
I can imagine,
Fully gassed.
just teeth gritty when you see it,
Fully gassed. Come on. And then, man, just family man, dad, husband, brother, uncle, nephew, cousin,
So what's the difference between Martin and DJ Milktray? Who's Milktray then?
Milktray is the... Do you know what? If I'm honest, it took a while for me to learn how to balance the two.
Swear.
Because Martin, is a bit more reserved. I used to really struggle with a lack of confidence.
Really?
Yeah, and that kind of stemmed from weight.
Okay.
So I've been on my weight loss journey.
Yeah.
It's like 8-9 years now.
Okay.
So at my heaviest, I was like 22, 23 stone, down to like 16 now.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that was always the thing for me. So Martin was always a little bit more reserved, a bit more of a guy in the background. And then when I kind of came into the DJ thing, Milktray allowed me to, over the years, become a lot more confident.
Yeah.
Initially, when I started DJing, me and my cousin Ibs, when we started Sweetboy Entertainment, I was the DJ, he was the host. That's how I liked it, because I still had that mental barrier of the decks. So I was always a little bit more further away from the crowd.
Yeah.
But over the years, I've had to kind of overcome that and, become the person I am today. So I'd probably say now they're a bit more of one and the same person.
So when you look back in like younger Milktray, younger Martin, is this where you are now? Is this where you saw yourself, or did you have other plans?
No, do you know what? When I started DJing back in '95, the goal was to be like just a top-notch DJ. Club DJ, touring the world, doing all of that kind of stuff. I used to, look up to the likes of like Rampage, Boogie Bunch, DJ Swing, Psycho, Ill Kids, 90%. And then, you know, you got like the likes of Big Ted and Shorty Blitz and all of that. So those are the guys I used to look up to and think, wow, I want to be like that. But where I am now, I didn't kind of see it.
Really, even though you planned that?
Yeah, but in a sense, I think what I've been able to do with my journey is to become more than just a DJ.
Yeah.
My big bro Freddie Krueger always says that to me. He says, you're now not just a DJ. Like, to be honest, you're probably like now you're DJ second, and it's the other stuff that you do that is more impactful.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I didn't see that path. I didn't see that path. I didn't see the path that God really had for me. And like, the thing is, when you kind of grow up in church and that, you know, your elders, they with their spiritual eye, they can always see a little bit further. I couldn't see it. So I didn't know exactly how, but my church always said to me that I'd be very influential. And they let me know that from a young age.
And you know what's crazy? It's the fact that even as you kind of grew up in that, you still had the decks in front of you to kind of protect you away from doing everything else.
Yeah.
Now you're motivational speaker. Now you're doing all these different things.
It's crazy. Like that's for me. That's why I take every opportunity and see it as a real blessing, because 20 years ago Martin would never have done that. No way. There was go and speak in front of a room and tell my story. Nah.
That's mad. So when you was kind of like younger, how did your family and friends influence your path?
My biggest influence is my auntie Paulette. She passed away a few years ago. She was like my best friend, like my confidant. Like there was nothing that happened in my life that Auntie Paulette didn't know.
Wow.
So if I had an issue, like, you know, like when you're younger and you have that issue with your parents, or I'm moving out, I don't want to live here no more. And then I go and phone my Auntie P, I'll be like, P, I'm coming to live with you. She'll be like, okay, all right, so let's just breathe.
She calm me down.
There's space, you can come here. And then like I would go to her house and I'd be there chatting and venting or whatever. And then she'd be like, okay, you know, it's time to go back home now.
She's not even trying to let you stay.
No. I think it was only maybe once or twice that she let me stay for a night.
Yeah.
But you got to go back home.
Yeah.
So my Auntie P took me to a record shop that used to be in Balham. We used to have a market, 2 markets in Balham. There was one, both of them had record shops. But she took me to the one outside, just kind of like the main one, and they had a record shop, and she took me to buy Past the Dutchie on a 7-inch. She bought the 12. She bought me the 7-inch on a 45. So that was like my first record. I was probably about 5 at the time.
5?
Yeah. And then, like, that was it. I fell in love with music.
Really?
From that moment.
Wow.
So even when I was younger, I remember there's a picture that we have of, there used to be this old Fisher-Price toy.
Yeah.
Which was like a turntable.
Swear.
Yeah. And it had like these 3 plastic vinyls. And you put it on and it would play music. Yeah. And my family said I was always playing with that.
You told me you started DJing in 95?
95.
But hold on, you was DJing at 5?
Well, I didn't even know that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So, and then like my dad used to play sound and my uncles and that.
Yeah.
So like my Auntie Paulette kind of was the first person. And then obviously Mummy and Daddy Milktray have just been colossal in my life, not only just from like a spiritual kind of like perspective, but just as parents. Yeah. Like they are the quote unquote traditional Jamaican Caribbean parents. You know what I mean? Daddy Milktray is the serious guy. Mummy Milktray is the mother. And you know, the balance in the house has always been that. And my sisters. So like my sisters were really my first ever audience. So my sisters Nat and Shan, they were the first people to ever hear me mix.
In the yard
and all of that. So when man's clanging.
When
man's clanging, and the beats ain't going, they'll be like, nah, fam, that ain't working, you know, that ain't working. And then what I used to do, I used to like make them, literally lock them in my room and make them listen to me for like hours. Yeah, so, like the influences growing up, like my uncles, yeah, no, I come from like, so my family dynamic is really unique because my mum's family, which is now still our family home, it like lives on this road.
Yeah.
And then my dad's family lived on the road next down.
Crazy.
So my mum was going to school with my aunties.
Yeah.
So that's how they met. So when I was younger, I grew up in between two houses on two separate roads.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that my dad's siblings, when they got old enough, they then bought property on my mum's road. So like I was raised. I was, you know, the cliche, you know, it takes a village. Like I was raised by a full on village.
Wow.
And then like not even just family members, but our neighbors, etc. I was raised by like this amazing tribe.
Wow. So you grow up, you have that influence of your family and friends. Papa Milktray, I've seen him doing his thing. I've seen him doing his thing.
He does the most. Right? Like we were out on my cousin's 40th on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I played my boy Lollipop. Them man, they like them.
Yeah,
you know them
them rhythms.
I see my man, they're skanking out. I said, listen guy. Yeah, you got church about it, yeah. Like, we don't want you to go and hurt yourself. You know, like that. So yeah, like dad's always been a bit of an entertainer.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he never really saw it going to this kind of level.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've kind of grown into what your dad was in terms of the entertainer, considering you weren't that confident before, you had the DJ decks in front of you and whatever, but now where you're at, you're probably even more, I would probably say you're even more comfortable with the mic than you are with the deck sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what people say now. People say like, I don't know, like, are you a better DJ or a better host? I've been blessed to be on this journey to develop the skills for both. I looked at people like Dr. Psycho, R.I.P. He was one of the best. He was like one of the first DJs that, because, you know, in Jamaica and that, sound culture and that, you know what I mean? Like, you'll see a man play, but like, you see like Maron.
Yeah.
Maron can play and host.
Yeah.
But he's not over here. So like, I grew up looking at Psycho. So Psycho he'd be able to host, mix, select, and do all of that by himself.
Yeah.
So I think I still prefer DJing a little bit more because I'm at a point where I can be a lot more creative with my mixing and throw things out there that you wouldn't kind of expect. So
Yeah.
that's what I love doing.
When was your first DJ event?
My first DJ event.
And what happened?
So it was a house party.
Okay.
House party in Balham.
That's normally how they start, you know? It's normally the house party.
House party. We just formed Sweetboy Entertainment.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine who was in the sound at the time, his brother was an estate agent. So he had keys to property in it. So we did our launch party.
That is so sick.
In Balham. The name of the road was Terrapin Road.
Jeez.
Yeah. And we just drew up a little flyer.
Yeah.
Handmade, you know. Handmade. Went to one printing shop in Tooting, printed off about 200 of these cardboard flyers. Gave them out at college and school and that. 16. And we had a ram dance. And I remember, like, where the party was probably like a 10-minute walk from my house.
Yeah.
And them days, I hadn't even bought record bags yet.
So you carried everything in there?
Sainsbury's. J Sainsbury's. Not Sainsbury's bag.
J
Sainsbury's bags. I go to the dance, 2 J Sainsbury's bags. And initially when I started DJing, I was a slow jam DJ.
Swear.
Yeah, like, so them days, like, we were still in the sound system, like, mode. So you had a man that did this.
Yeah.
So like my brethren, 10 Faces, he was the hip hop man.
Yeah.
My brethren Joseph, Dr. Cuddles, he was he was the bashment man. Them times when we didn't call it bashment.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
ragga. Yeah, let's get it right. Yeah, we called it ragga. And then my cousin Ibby, he was like more the house and garage guy.
Yeah.
And then I was the slow jam
Everyone
guy.
had their role.
Yeah, everybody had their position. So we had this house, black bags on the window.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember walking home at like 7:30, 7:45. Down the road, it was mad. Like just thinking, wow, man done. But I remember even mixing, you know. Man was just literally just chewed on, fade across next one, fade across next one.
But the thing is, the people there were just enjoying themselves. It didn't even matter.
Listen, we used to have house parties on cassette.
Huh? Sorry, reload that one. House parties and cassette.
On cassette. Yeah. Man would just come, ghetto blaster, 4 tapes. That's it. House party. Hours. Same 4 tapes. TDK D90s. Yeah? Not even 120s. Some of you lot don't even know what we're talking about. Google it.
TDK.
Yeah? TDK D90s. It wasn't even a 120. Because 120 was expensive. Man, we're going Dixon's to pay that kind of money. You know, like that. So it was TDK D90s. That's what we was reading. That's what we were dealing with.
Oh my gosh. I swear my parents must have some of those still in their yard right now.
Yeah. I've still got a load of like my tapes and that at mum and dad. So that was our first event. It was sick.
So as you're starting to progress and become, more well known as a DJ, how do you balance life? Because obviously Sweetboy Entertainment starts to take off. Obviously now you're looking at, soon to be having a wife whenever that time comes. How do you balance all of that?
It's learning.
Okay.
It's real learning. So the fact that I was DJing and then started working full time. So I started at working at Carphone warehouse back in 1999, and finished up there at the beginning of the pandemic. So that was 2020.
Yeah.
And in that I learned a lot. I learned a lot, not just about business and marketing and how to sell and all of that, but really trying to find that balance. And then when I met Mrs. Milks, I was full-time. I'd just taken on my first management position. I was running and managing the store in Balham. And yeah, I was still living at home, all of that jazz. The mum was good in it.
Like, so you had...
And everything was on my doorstep.
Got ya.
So I lived in Balham, born and raised in Balham.
Works in Balham.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Everything was kind of cool for me. But then, met Mrs. Milks and then we got together and then had the twins and that. And then that's when everything kind of just flips upside down, innit? Because it's no longer about you. So I kind of struggled with that because, we come from that ethic of you just work hard, innit? You got to work hard. You got to work 2-3 times harder than the average.
Yeah.
But I was still really passionate about my music and I didn't want to let that go. So I was working full time, doing 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours in a week. Sometimes having to do the audits. Like you drive past my shop at like 11 o'clock and see the light on.
It's just you.
It's just me. So quality of life wasn't that great, the balance. And you just got to learn. You go through it. Like you go through the ups and the downs. You go through you feel like you're not spending enough time with the family, or you get that kind of have that conversation that you're not home enough or whatever. But it was never really that. It was always kind of me saying to myself,
I'm working to try and make sure that we're cool.
Yeah. But it was always me having that conversation with myself. Mrs. Milks has never kind of really said, you need to be at home or whatever. Because she's from the entertainment industry herself. She has like a really great understanding. So it was never that. And she's really, the thing is, if people say that I'm busy, people don't understand her grind, yeah? So she works full time. She's the director of the choir at Tab Worship. So she does that. She does vocal training. She's on tour with artists. You know what I mean? So it's mad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we've both had to kind of learn and have conversations. Do you know what I mean? There's been times where we've had the conversation like, boy, like, we'll have to switch up this and kind of move that around.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's been just learning and just having to be really honest with myself.
Got you.
Because I'm not trying to be one of these people that you got all the success out there in the world, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Your house is popped down. Like your kids ain't good and the family ain't good. I'm not trying to live that. You know what I mean? Like your first ministry is home. So yeah.
How did you adjust to being a father and all of that then?
Do you know what? I remember the day when we found that it was twins. So we were at my sister-in-law's house the day before, which was like a Sunday, and we were having dinner and that. And my mother-in-law, I call her Bashman Granny, cause she's up girl still. Yeah, every week she change her hair and nails and all these things. Yeah. So I remember the wife walked past and said, "You know, it's twins, innit?" I said, "Why are you gonna come and put bad mouth upon us like that?" She's like, "Nah, look at the size of the belly. Nah, it's twins, bro." When we went for the scan, and the lady, you know, they get the thing, the jaw, and then the lady says to us, "Does anybody drive a sports car between the two of you?"
Oh, she's trying to hit you with that early.
These times, I'm driving my champagne-coloured Merc compressor, yeah, 320, yeah. I'm hot boying it out here. Panoramic sunroof, you know.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I said to her, "Yeah, I drive a 2-door sporty kind of car." She's like, "You might need a 4-door." I was like, "Okay, why?" She's like, "It's twins." I said, "Can you speak up?" Because it sounds like you're mumbling. She's like, "No, it's twins." I was like, "Whoa!"
Shock.
That was the moment my life changed. That was the moment my life changed.
Did you feel like you had to grind a bit more now that it's rather than one or...
Right, so I'm in management at Carphone.
Yeah.
For those who know Martin, I'm quite laid back and whatever. Even as a manager, I'm about my business.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I'm not that
Crack the
slave
whip.
driver, crack the whip. So I come back to work the next day, branch meeting. Not even warning. Nah, you man ain't no branch meeting tonight. Alright, cool. So I sat down with my whole team. I said, "Man, them, listen." Went for the scan, and it's twins. Ooh. That was the response from my team. Ooh. So I'm saying to man, right, cool. Do you know what? We are bossing target every month from now on. Yeah.
Things switch up different.
Within like 2 months at like the next managers meeting, I'm in the meeting and everybody's like, the area manager's like, "Yeah, like Balaam's overperforming." I said, "Damn right, man's got twins on the way." Yeah?
Let's tell it everyone, you know, make sure you know.
On the way, yeah? So if you don't think you're going to be smashing targets around me, you've not got another thing coming. One New Year's Eve, I'll tell you the story. So the last day for bonus for that quarter was New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So obviously, man, them don't really want to have, but it was a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we still open like kind of normalish hours, 9 till 5. Mm-hmm. That morning, I said to the man, "I'm going to let you lot know. We are not closing this shop. I don't care what party you're going to. I don't care what you got going on. We are not closing this shop until we bust the target."
Everything
so phone up who you need to phone up, get them to come and do their upgrades, whatever. Like 8 o'clock, I swear to you, fam, I had my staff out on Balaam High Road flagging down customers. Yeah? Come get an upgrade. We'll give you a BlackBerry, whatever. Yeah? Like, come.
Everything's...
Bro, I didn't shut the shop until 9:30.
Everything's switch off.
I didn't shut the shop, fam. I said, "There's no way we're going into this quarter and not busting the target."
No. Yeah. Everything's switch up, you know. Bro. You heard you having twins. You had a meeting.
Bro. Because I keep telling people twins ain't cheap. Yeah? So that was my mindset.
Yeah.
It really changed my whole direction.
Your thing switch up quickly, you know.
Yeah, bro. Trust me. Twins. Listen, I don't even want to talk about them. You know, like that. I love them, you know, but damn.
So, things switch up, you know, that's crazy. So, you DJing, Sweetboy Entertainment, you progress through the years with them. Do you feel like your journey with Sweetboy Entertainment has prepared you for where you're at now?
Definitely.
And how has that done that?
Because we've gone through, you know, we've gone through the trenches. I mean, we started out as, you know, just a load of man in a sound, and then, you know, over the years, man's come in, man's come out, man's come in, man's come out. You know, the days of going to a booking and man's getting £50 and splitting that between 3 man. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of that, we've been through it. And the team that I've got right now, we've been together over 10 years.
Wow.
Like, consistently. So, like my right hand, T21 came in around about 2003. And then at one point it was just me and him. And then my cousin came on board, D Warner. He's more like, he's not a DJ, he's not an MC.
Got ya.
But he's the
brains.
He's the brains. And then like one of my staff that I met at Carphone, who became my assistant manager, producer, he then kind of was my producer for my radio show when I was on Top. For Sexy Time. And then JR came on board through T21. And he's kind of, history is more like, he came from like the garage thing.
Got ya.
And then like, yeah, we've just been a team ever, like, solidly, like, ever since, and we've been through it. I mean, we've put on events and they haven't gone well, or we've had the ups and the downs and the, you know what I mean? But we've never had no kind of major fallouts or whatever. And there's a love and respect, and what I like about our team as well, like, there's 3 DJs, so there's myself, T21, and DJR, and like, we do Aquam on a Sunday, and the great thing about that is, like, there might be one week and JR does like a 2-hour set, and you're like, wow, my man, you're sure, you know. So, and you're coming on after it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I mean, there's that competitive spirit within the team, and like, kind of just iron sharpens iron. That's what I love about it. And then everybody has kind of branched off and gone and done other things. So most of my guys that I'm around are actual teachers by trade. Wow. Like full-time teachers. JR, T21, producer, they're all full-time teachers. So they've all been able to kind of take some of those aspects and then put them into other bits and pieces. So like JR started the Rights Academy. T21's done like after school clubs and summer programs. Producer like does performing arts with young people. So lovely. Like, and then Warner is just, again, like the brains, but he's a trainer, so he does corporate training. And yeah, man, the team have prepared me, and they support me, and like, we support each other. So it's just a good unit to be around.
So one thing I love about you is your transparency, whether things are going well or things are not going well. So has there ever been a time leading up to, let's say, pre-pandemic, and we'll talk about some stuff post-pandemic, as we were talking about off camera.
Off camera.
Pre-pandemic, was there ever a time where things didn't go well, and how did you react to that, or how did you kind of maneuver around it? And what did you learn?
So 2012, I'm at a stage, so the twins are 2.
Yeah.
The twins are 2. Work is getting busy. Carphone.
Yeah.
Still playing out every weekend, etc. But I wasn't happy.
Okay.
I wasn't happy, bro. My weight was going up ridiculously. My health was getting bad. High blood pressure, all of that kind of stuff. And I felt like something had to give. Really, like, I was on the verge of like nervous breakdown, like proper. Like, don't let anybody tell you that stuff's not real. Like, big man like myself, I was on the verge, bro. So something had to give, and God kept telling me, look, I'm gonna just test your faith in it. So, and what I realized, sometimes with God, what he does, he makes situations really uncomfortable for you. So that whole situation with work, with Carphone, at that time, was to push me out. Because he knew that if he didn't make it uncomfortable, I was going to sit and ride it. And then it would have been either one thing, one, I pop down, or two, I'm just going to blow up this shop. So it got to a point where I said, no, I'm going to step down from management. At the time, I was heavy into radio. So I'd started doing radio back in like 2003 on Delight with like So Solid and all of that. And then I moved to another pirate station, Bounce FM, built my Bounce family. And then I moved to On Top. So I was doing like shows on Top. We had a radio show called Sexy Time. Slow jam show. Popped off, like it was crazy. Like these are the days of BBM status. So like on a Wednesday, you know, like you check status and then all you'd see is our logo. Like it was mad. But I wanted to do breakfast. So I left Carphone, as in I stepped down from management. I went part-time, 15 hours. So I've had that conversation with Mrs. Milks, my dad, mum, my auntie Paulette. I spoke to my uncle Freddie, who's my pastor. Said, look, man, this is kind of like where I want to go. I feel like this is where God's taking me. They were like, cool, like we got you, like go. And to go from earning really good money, I was earning like good money, bro, a couple grand a month. You know what I mean? I was in the position to buy Mrs. Milks a car. You know what I mean? When we knew she was having the twins, bought her, you know what I mean? Bought a big whip. It wasn't the biggest whip that she wanted.
What was the big whip?
It was a big whip. She was on some X5.
She was on the big.
She was on some X5. We went to the dealership. Because this was before SUVs were a thing. Like, so went to the SUVs, and she was like, I was thinking, oh, you're gonna go for like a Toyota or something. We walked past the family cars, and then I looked at like a Vauxhall Safira.
Okay, you was on the people carrier thing.
I was on the people carrier thing. She says to me, no disrespect, but I'm not driving that with sliding doors that looks like a church van. I said, all right, cool, babe. All right, cool. What do you want me to do? So we go to the X5, like the the SUV thing. She goes and sits in the X5 straight away. And this says, come, babes, come. I feel like me and the boys, me and your sons will be really safe in this.
Shit, you with that?
Wretched woman. So, you know what I mean? I was like, it was good. I was in a good space financially, but I wasn't happy. So to go from that and then move to literally having no money, that was like some of my darkest days, bro. Like on the reels, like, and as a man, having to kind of deal with that and look at yourself and question your manhood and all of the things that have been, you know, planted in you from like the men around you, whatever. You start to doubt yourself heavily. And I was just like in a really, really dark space. I loved what I did. I loved playing music and that, but it wasn't bringing in enough money in my mind. But obviously, clearly it did, because God was providing every month. Like, there was times when it got mad sticky. I'll be honest, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, the credit score went from to like, I hear that. That's the reality. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't say. Like, man had, bro, my credit score was nice. Credit score went bang. I was like, boy. But for me, what really got me through was my faith. And there's some pivotal points in my life where I knew that was God, like, stretching me for the next stage. So that was probably, I feel like, in my main adulthood life part, like, that was the first part of God saying, you know what, I'm stretching you. Because the fact of the matter is I had a young family, and I wasn't feeling like I was the breadwinner, and so I'm doing 15 hours at Carphone, and then I'm just doing. You see, weekend.
You're just out,
fam. 6 bookings sometimes. Oh yeah, bar mitzvah. Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, what funeral? Yeah, I'm there. What Christmas? Yeah, I'm there. Like literally. So to the point where I was coming in on Sunday mornings and stuff, fall asleep in my car outside my house. Like, get home, turn the engine, wake up. One morning, my sister-in-law was staying at our house, and she actually was going to church, knocked the window. I was in the car, outside the house. Yeah, bro. So that's the reality. But it's always been God's grace, bro. Always, like, just even in the darkest trenches, I'm always like, there's just always something. When I thought like, nah, like even when I wanted to give up radio.
You wanted to give up?
Yeah, man, I was ready to give up my breakfast show. I was looking, there was one morning, I just woke up at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I checked my NatWest app and I said, nah, this can't run no more. This can't, like, because pirate radio, what a lot of people don't understand is you do pirate radio and you don't get paid. So I was waking up doing breakfast on top, like 5 days a week from home. So streaming like on Twitch and that in my house now is nothing to me because I was doing radio back in 2013, 2014 at home. So we had like a 2-bed flat at the time, and I had a small space on the dining room table. So when the kids were getting ready for nursery, they were actually sitting next to me. Whilst I was doing radio. Yeah. Like.
Do you know how mad that is?
Yeah. So for the twins, for them to see me doing twitching and DJing and whatever at home,
nothing.
That's nothing because that's what they've grown up around.
Wow.
So for me, at that point, I was like, no, I'm done. I was ready to phone up my area manager that morning, like 9 o'clock. Boss man, I need a store. I woke up at 6 and I got an email at 6:30. This is God. From a listener who'd been listening to Milktray's motivation on the show for how many years. She then passed her degree and went to Jamaica, was working out there, and she just it's not even random, it's just God, sent me this email. At the same time, I woke up at 6 and said, I'm done. At 6:30, I got an email saying, do you know what, I just want to let you know that you see what you do, you don't even understand how much people you've helped, how much people you've touched. How much, so if you ever feel like you want to give up, you can't. That's God, bro. That's 6 o'clock, I woke up and said, I'm done. At 6:30, I got that email. Yeah. Right. So that's why when you see me on a social or whatever, I got to put God first. Because it's only God's grace that I'm here, man. And it's just not even God's grace, but it's the prayers from like family members. Like I grew up with my gran. I was my gran's child, basically. So for a long time, I slept next to my gran. So I would be, sometimes, you know, when you're younger and you wake up and you hear them old school praying from 4 o'clock.
Early morning.
4 o'clock till 7.
Yeah.
And as a child, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't have no understanding, like, why are they praying for so long?
But it's future-proofing you, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Now I get it. Because she wasn't praying for me. She was praying for my wife, for my picnic there. She was praying for the business. Like, and she didn't even know. She was praying for my sisters, cousins, like, do you know what I mean? And that's what that is.
And what's crazy is those prayers still carrying you through today.
Yeah.
And will still carry you through tomorrow.
Come on, B.
So when lockdown hits,
let's get juicy, man.
What's happening with the business, with the family?
So lockdown hits.
First lockdown, March 22.
The big one.
Yeah.
I'm doing weddings. Like I've kind of now carved out a market
Yeah.
in the wedding kind of field. Like collectively as a sound, we started doing weddings over 10 years ago, even longer.
Yeah.
Like my cousin reminded me the other day. He's like, oh, like he did my mum's wedding back in 2005, 2003. Like you know what I mean. So we've been doing weddings a long time, but I had 20 plus weddings booked in. I was doing DJ lessons with the Rights Academy. Still one day at Carphone. First pandemic comes. Just before the pandemic, I was in bed, sleeping, and then the wife got the TV on. She says, and then she got an alert on her phone. And the alert says, oh, Carphone warehouse due to close down, blah, blah, blah. She says, babes, you know Carphone was closing? I just opened my eye and went, no. I went back to sleep. So, pandemic comes, lockdown. Carphone have gone under. They've offered me this redundancy money. So I've been there 20 plus years. And I'd heard all these rumors about people getting like some good payouts and whatever. So I'm thinking, boy, man's you a good change.
20 years? Yeah.
Man's doing you a good change. But because I'd gone part-time, they based my redundancy on the last 3 months worth of hours. So they then offered me 2.5 grand.
For 20 years.
For 20 years. Now, when I'm telling people this story, people are raging. People are raging.
Years, you know.
People are cussing on, no, fam, and this, that, and other, and blah, and but there was such a calmness in me. There was such a calmness in me because what I'd realized is that I'd gone through something a couple of months earlier. Where again, that stretching of faith, like God was stretching me. So me and my cousin had organized to do a talent show. Cause we love family, we love entertaining. We used to do this show when we was at college called the Assorted Flavors Variety Show. So we hadn't done it for like 15 years, but it's always been in my mind to do it. So God's always put it there. So we did it, cut long story short. 7 days before the event, we'd only sold 80 tickets. So a friend of mine, my sis, I call her my sis Janine, I told her, she said, you need to pray and fast for 7 days. So did that. I'd already spent like 2.5 grand. Yeah. So we do this event. Within 7 days, we go from 80 tickets to 350 tickets. Now, we didn't break even, but what that showed me is that I need to really trust God. Because I always thought that event was going to be the thing to get us on telly and whatever. But what it was actually was God was testing my faith. And then in that season, that season prepared me for COVID. You see what I'm saying? So when COVID comes now,
that's why you got that peace, because you just like,
I was like, okay, cool, COVID's here. Like, it's gonna be tense and it's gonna be tricky, but I wasn't stressing. A friend of mine who used to work for Carphone in HR told her about it. She did this amazing email. They bumped it up to like 4 grand. Cool, whatever. I'm not gonna fight it. Whatever, I'll take the money. I had some money saved up, and then I think it was the 19th. No, hold on, 17th, 18th. So the 19th of April, 2020. In my house, in my little room where I've got my decks and that. I'm watching one of my guys. I'm watching JR. Because that's when all the DJs, that's when we started doing IG lives.
Everyone was doing IG live. Yeah.
So first lockdown, I started doing IG lives, bro. I'm getting mad numbers, like 400 pluses and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then a couple of weeks later, we did a party on Zoom for the wife. And then 2 days later, I'm watching JR. The Saturday night, about 12:30. And literally, I just felt God say to me, look, see, tomorrow morning, I want you to do a gospel show.
Just out of the blue like that.
Just random, like, alright, alright, cool. Like, so I got on my phone, did a little flyer, Milktray Sunday service. I posted it, went to sleep, woke up, over 200 likes. Alright, cool. Like, plugged in the iRig, did this first show, and like, man had like 200-300 people. And I was like, wow. And then Daddy Milktray came on at the end and prayed over it. And he said, I'm just letting you know that this is what God wants you to do. So just do it. That was 79 weeks ago. And I've been doing Sunday service every Sunday by hook or by crook since. And the doors that have opened since that, I can't even, there's so many. I started the Hope program, which is, you know, taking and teaching young people and teaching people just in general how to become DJs. We do mentoring in that. And that kind of came from working with JR and the Rights Academy. And then we had the whole George Floyd thing. So Croydon, a friend of mine called Anthony King, works in Croydon, community kind of champion. And they were doing like a rally and they were trying to get together like well-respected black, you know, figures in the community to come down. So I met like the mayor and some MPs and they were like, we need something for these young people. Can you put something together? I was like, cool. So me and Anthony sat down in a room in Croydon, kind of came up with the Hope program. And then just things like, so that started, and then I'm in a meeting with the Metropolitan Police 2 weeks later. 3 weeks later, I'm in a meeting with Crystal Palace Football Club. Next week, I'm sitting down and I've got my brethren from Mentively, the mentoring company, they're in the meeting. And then it just spirals, bro. But every single Sunday, by hook or by crook, I've got to make sure I do Sunday service. And the whole of lockdown, when man had no money, this is honest. Which camera I need to look in?
That's your camera, right?
It's my camera. No money, like genuinely no money. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to have some serious conversations with Mrs. Milks, like. But every time, bro, every time there's a phone call. Can you do a workshop here, or can you do a Zoom party here, and just every time I was like, wow. And that all came from obedience. From that season, that's what I've learned about Sunday service. The fact that doing Sunday service, it was about me being obedient. God saying, all right, cool, I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone. Because everybody knows that as a DJ, I love DJing, but my family, we come from church and I've never shied away from that. So everybody knows we do church and that. But I think it was just God saying, all right, cool, how much are you really going to trust me? Because I'm going to take away all of your wedding bookings, all your private bookings, deposits paid, like flights booked. I had 4 international weddings, bro. But I'm going to take that all away. I'm going to take all of that away. I'm going to see how you roll in it. I'm just going to strip you bare. And bro, it's just been the most amazing season. The most amazing season of my life, seriously. And that just came from obedience. Because I could have sat there in my house and said, nah, God, I'm not really going to do it. You know? Nah, I don't know if I really want to do it. Because I've never, even though people don't know me for that side, but I've never been that vocal about it. Like, you're really kind of putting yourself out there. So for me to do that, and I mean, I'd already started doing like Milktray's motivation. And that's what I realized. There's all these stages. God was preparing me to get to this stage.
Wow. What's the hardest conversation you had to have with your family around that time?
It was down to like the finances. Do you know what I mean? That was the hardest conversation. You know, in our household, we realized that from a while ago that if I was to stay full time at Carphone, I could only earn X amount. But if Mrs. Milks went back to work full time, she could earn X amount. So from when the boys were young, we had that conversation. So that was another reason why I went part-time. So me going part-time and then enabled me to do school runs and pick up the boys and do all of that. So even though I was earning less than Mrs. Milks, the reward for that is how much I've been able to pour into our sons. So for the mini Milks, they see their dad every day. They now have to come to meetings with me. They hear me on the phone. They see me streaming. It was the twins who told me about Twitch. Imagine that. So when I'm doing IG lives,
because they're watching all the game, and
when I'm doing IG lives and getting locked off, they're coming into my room and saying, "Dad, should you go on Twitch?" I'm like, "Nah, it seems a bit long, son."
and DJs, when at that point DJs was moving over,
Slow.
and it was going like this for DJs, and they moved over as well.
So, like for me, that conversation was really important back in the day because we've already had the conversation about finances.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too hard, but it kind of just felt like I was like, "Babe, look, at the moment, I'm not even there." But even though I had the conversation, God still provided, bro. Like there was never a month that I wasn't able to do my part and pay my half of the bills and all of that. And as a man, that's really important. That's important to us. You want to be able to feel like you're doing your part. Not only because you want to feel like you're doing your part, but for me, I want to be an example to my sons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was probably the trickiest. But as I said, bro, just every time, like I felt like, the money's getting tighter now. Bang, phone call or an email or something would come up. Do you know what I mean? So,
and what people weren't seeing is that you'd still be on IG Live at one point, laptop done, gone. No one, you have to go down to Curry's or wherever you went to go get the new thing. But people don't, unless they're watching week on week, people don't see that's happened. They just see every Sunday Milktray's on.
Yeah, bro. Like I had to learn. Big up to all my DJs, you know, in lockdown. We've had to adapt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to learn how to stream on OBS and overlays and what? Who's got time for what? That's long. What? Webcam? What? What? Logitech C930? What? Like, why is it 2 bills? When before pandemic, the week before pandemic, man could get it for £50. Man go to Amazon, a Logitech C920 now is 180.
Listen.
Mocking, man. Yeah? All of that. Hours. I'll be on the phone to my brother Simple Simon for hours. Yo, fam, I found this video on YouTube about OBS. Like, we be messing each other like 2 o'clock. Yo, fam, I just found a thing. Like, it was that peak. So, learning how to adapt to go into this whole streaming game. Was a lot for me. And I just took everything that I had and invested in it, like fully. I went and bought gaming PC. That cost me, I think, 1,400. Monitors, webcams, sound cards, microphone, lighting. Like, imagine in my home studio now, I've got separate broadband. So the house, them not got Sky. I got Virgin. Nobody don't have the password. When the man put the box in, you see the little stick on the back of the thing?
You took it off.
Peel it off. Because I know what the twins are like. Never they'll come in there and just on a gym squeaky. Yeah? Because all the time I hear it when they're doing their little Fortnite, oh, Dad, it's glitching, man, it's glitching. Boy, my stream is alright. Yeah? But like literally I've spent like I think last year, I think I worked it out, I spent about $8,000. I spent about $8,000 on getting my stream to like where it is. Like, trust me, it's been a lot.
So in all that, do you feel like where you are at now, you're more hungry and more fearless and pushing through in terms
of my days. I'm
to get those successes?
I'm so fearless. So fearless. Like, not like fearless in the sense of I'll just do anything.
Yeah.
But like if I'm doing something, I'm going all in. Mm-hmm. That's what lockdown's kind of taught me.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to invest in it.
Yeah.
Like I invested in my streaming, and then trying to convert people from IG
to Twitch.
That was a thing. Mm-hmm. Like this month is a year that I've been streaming on Twitch, and to be able to be in a position now where I'm now confidently streaming on Twitch, and was able to then get a lot of my DJs that are around me to come over, because I was screaming. I was saying, "Man, come to Twitch," and they're like, "Boy, what's long, But then, one by one they came. Conspiracy, Strictly Vibes, Simple Simon, and then we built like this, and big business, and we built this little network, and then our followers from IG, only a small percent of them kind of came over, but now everybody's in a position where this year, the first part of this year, Twitch was my main income. Twitch was paying my bills. Hands down. Twitch was paying my bills. Like, all of my bills. Like, there you go, babe. That's my half. There was nothing left after I've... There was no savings. There was no savings, yeah? But there's my half. That's the everything covered, yeah? The bills, mortgage, everything.
Milktray said, Twitch was paying my bills. Full stop.
Yeah, stop right there. There wasn't I had money left out. No. But Twitch was paying my bills.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That you went from free IG live to Twitch paying your bills.
And I know DJs like internationally and like in UK who are doing 2-3 times what I was earning. Like I know men that are on Twitch that are making city broker money. I'm not joking. I'm not talking
I've seen it.
I'm not talking like 1-2 grand. I'm talking 5-6 grand, 7. Like man, them are making some peas.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, like I'm just fearless now, bro. Do you know what I mean? If I'm passionate about something, I'm going all in. Whether it be the Hope program, whether it be the radio station Reach LDN, whether it be doing events, etc. Sunday service. Do you know what I mean? Like one of my proudest things is that I've never missed a Sunday service. Even when we kind of came out of lockdown and things were opening back up, Saturday night, Sunday morning, booking, wedding, whatever, come 9 o'clock, the stream is on. Sometimes I might not even be on camera now.
Sometimes it's just the preacher preaching. It's the song at the start.
It's just the word, and maybe a Kirk Franklin concert. Yeah, we use that as the praise and worship, and then we go straight to the word. And then you might hear me on the mic. Yo, people, yeah, I'm here, but man's mad tired, so I'll see you lot next week. That's the end of it. That's it. But you know what I mean? For me, that's
I watched that one the other day.
Yeah, fam. And you know what? Mommy Milktray, like I went to the house for dinner. Mom said, I think you need to just balance it out a bit, Sam, because you're not coming on the camera. We want to see you on the camera.
I was like, hold on, where's
Nah, fam.
Hold on, Kirk Franklin.
Yeah, Kirk Franklin.
Mike Todd, hold on, wait.
That's
Where's
right. And then straight to Mike Todd, Crazy Faith. Thanks, guys. It's been great.
So let's talk BBC One Extra, Metro Fest.
Wow.
Because those are 2 opportunities that have come out of your successes during lockdown. One opportunity in terms of time length came on the day, on site. So talk me through how those kind of came about, and then how you were first feeling, first reactions, especially the Metro Fest thing.
Yeah.
How was your first reactions to those things as well?
Well, I mean, Metro Fest, I'd always wanted to do festivals. And I'll be brutally honest, I kind of felt like, God, like, why are you overshadowing me? Like I can shell. Like, why am I not at a festival? Like, I hadn't had, like, I had one festival booking a couple of years ago, and I was like the first DJ.
Got ya.
So when I got there was nobody there.
Yeah, people stood in the queues.
There was nobody there.
Oh, no one in the
Like,
queues?
there was even nobody in the queue. Yeah. So it was just me and three of my brethren.
Yeah,
and they were vibing.
Yeah.
Up a bag of noise. And then I hadn't had a festival booking since. And then I got this Metro Fest booking. We got to Sheldon. A man like, boom, I'm gonna put you on, but I want to put you on and make sure like you get a little coverage. So I want you to do the comedy 10, and then I'm gonna get you a slot on the main stage. So I was like, cool. Like, you know when you hear that, like, you know what, bro? I'm just thankful for the best.
Yeah. You just happen to be there.
I'm just happy to be here. Yeah. So whether I'm on the main stage or the tent, it doesn't matter. So me and my cousin Warner, who's my partner and manager, we got there, and that weekend, the mud and it was mad. The weather was crazy. I just remember walking like at the entrance, and the mud was crazy, and the timings was all out because of the mud. Because I think what happened was they had 51st State there the day before, so they opened up a little bit later, so everything was kind of behind time.
Yeah.
So originally, I was meant to be in the comedy tent and then come to the main stage. So I got to the main stage. And they were like, no, don't go too far, because basically by the time you get to the comedy tent, they've only just started, so just stay here.
Got ya.
So I'm just around the back of the main stage. I go on the main stage and I'm having a look around, just trying to take it all in. And then a man comes up to me and says, yeah, boom, like, you're on after this artist. I was like, cool, no props. So get plugged up and that, and then like man says to me, I know you meant to have half an hour, but we're running behind time, so you only got 20 minutes.
Oh, the cut. You didn't say the cut.
Yeah. Yeah, so my set went from 30 minutes originally. I was only meant to have 30 minutes on the main stage. And then they trimmed it down. They said, you've only got 20. So I'm like, cool, like, I'm on main stage, innit?
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean? God is good all the time. All the time, God is good, yeah. So I get on and I start playing and just been in a little vibe. Big up to my guy, Days as well, because he was kind of there already. So I said to him, what's been played, what hasn't? He's like, no like reggae or dance has been played. I was like, cool. So came in there, you know, heads highs and all of that. Because it was very, really diverse, wide kind of audience. So just kind of kept it jiggy. And then, you know, like, you get into your little groove, but you start thinking, hold on, like, it's got to be longer than 20 minutes. So, like, now, I looked at my watch and I'm like, no, this is closer to like 40 minutes now. So I didn't even question anything.
You just carry on.
I carried on. So then, like, now it's getting to like 50 minutes. So I've looked over at my cousin Warner and I'm like, he's like, so then it's like just under an hour now.
Yeah.
And Days comes up to me and says, I'm like, what, going for the time? He's like, bro, just keep playing. Bro, from that moment, I poured my entire heart and soul out on that stage. Because at this point now, there's thousands of people, like thousands in front of man. And it was just me one on the stage. So going back to your question about preparing, all of the things that I've gone through in the DJ game and all of that, radio, all of that, what I realized was preparing me for that one moment. That's when God says, you know what? Don't worry, because I haven't put you on nothing. Because guess what? I'm going to put you on a stage in front of how many people, and I'm going to give you your due time to shine. So 20 minutes went from really 20 minutes to like 2.5 hours. Just shit, like, bro, I was shelling. I was leaving mixes running, going to the crowd, telling them to sway. We was doing gas and like, man, run back. Man had every mix that I could think of, I pulled out.
You just
like
left
Oasis, Wonderwall with Junior Mafia, Get Money.
Yeah, that was cold.
Like, I was pouring my whole heart out, bro. Because at that point now, I'm like, wow, like, look at God. And then I came off, and then the stage manager said to me, all right, don't go too far. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. And then they asked me to come back on again, and yeah, came back on. We got my guy DJ Longers as well. And then yeah, bro, like I literally did probably about just under 3 hours that day, and the response was just overwhelming, bro. Like the next day, the Monday, I had like over 150 plus mentions. Like my Instagram following went up by like over 1,000. It was mad. Like, you know when you're trying to repost on IG, my phone crashed about 4 times. Trust me, it was crazy. I was getting messages from people saying, you know what, like you was the highlight. Do you know what I mean? I know there was a few little technicals and whatever, but people were like, look, man, like you saved that. You saved Metrofest. So yeah, man, I was so like when I came off stage, I didn't know whether to shout, scream, cry. Like I was just a bag of emotions. Like, cause I'd been waiting for that one moment for so long. And again, the same with One Extra. I've been trying to get on One Extra since it started. So I've done features. I've been in the old building. I was doing guest stuff with Ace and Viz. Big up G Money, who's over there in Nairobi now, with Homeboy Radio. Charlene White, who's now on ITV. I was doing features with them. They used to do like their afternoon show. At Rampage as well. I've been there, like, and then what was happening, everybody's like, yeah, like, boom, you're next, do a demo. So I do a demo, and every time I do the demo, man will put it on the desk, and then that man now has gone to BBC One. Yeah. Or he's gone to somewhere here. So like every time I felt like the door was opening, door closed, slammed right back. I was like, oh God, you know what? See me and you, God. I don't really like.
You trying to beef God,
bro? I'm not gonna lie. I feel straight. I was disgruntled. I was like, God, burn you and your eyebrows, yeah? Because this is long. Why? Why are you not gonna let me get through the door? Yeah.
Not God's eyebrows.
Why are you not gonna let me get through the door? So I kind of felt like that wasn't my portion.
You felt that time had passed.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Do you know what? It is what it is. And then February this year at 12:30 at night. Now the reason why 12:30 is significant is because back in April 2020, when I decided to do Sunday service, the time I decided to do it was 12:30. So I get an email at 12:30 on a Thursday night from Adele. She says, hi, I'm Adele, I'm a producer for One Extra. I've been watching what you've been doing on Sunday service, where you're mixing gospel with R&B, hip hop, funky and bashment and jungle and whatever. And we want that. So send me your number and I'm gonna call you, tell me what time to call you tomorrow. Bro, I sat there and I looked at the screen in my house, the monitor, and I sat there for about half an hour. And then the wife came upstairs and she just walked past my studio and she saw me, she's like, are you okay? And I said, and then I couldn't even talk. And I just pointed at the screen and she read the email. And then like, we just both started crying. Cause I'd been trying to get on One Extra for so many years. And then it was only out of my obedience. Do you see what God done? See when he says, just do me in it. Do me. Like, do what I tell you to do and just watch what I do for you. Because that came from nowhere. I had no idea that she was watching Sunday service when I was doing it on IG for all that time. And then she said, bang. There was an opportunity, she said, I've got the guy. That all came from that obedience. And now, I'm nearly a year in. Crazy.
And the thing is, because of how successful you've been with it, you've opened doors for others. You opened doors for me. You opened doors for the other DJs that weren't doing it before you came along. But because you did what you did, you opened mad doors.
That's what I'm here for, man.
That's crazy.
For me, that's...
Through your obedience, you opened doors for others.
It's something there. Like, for me, that's what it's about. Like, creating legacy and influence and, being able to open doors. Because I feel like in this DJ fraternity, there's not a lot of people that do that. Do you know what I mean? Not a lot of people really want to open the door. But I'm doing my thing, innit? Like, that's why teaching, like, the next generation to me, and not even just the next generation, but people, it's so important to me. Because I love DJing, but I'm going to be honest. I even had this conversation on the way here. I'm not going to be DJing. Like, I'm 43 now. Don't think I'm going to be out here at weddings at the age of 50, setting up speakers and all of that. I've got no time. Yeah, my thing is now, I want to be able to have the next set of DJs coming up and sound engineers and whatever. You go and do it. Yeah, you go and set up and do all of that jazz. And then if they want to pay me the big money to come and do the thing, I come in like a Trevor Nelson or whatever. I'll come and do the show. But I'm not, that's where I'm going now, bro.
Wow.
That's my vision. So I'm just happy that I could do that. And I didn't even think that it would open doors for others like yourself. You know what I mean? When I saw your post, when I saw your post and I saw the gospel quarter, I said, look at God! Look at God! Look at that. Like, I had no idea that it would create that. So for me, I'm just happy to be like that person. Like, I love to give. And it says, like, in the Bible, like, you've got to give in it. You know what I mean? Like, and you'll reap. You will reap. If you give just like unconditionally, just watch, man. And I'm a true testimony of that. True one.
What advice would you give to someone who is trying to maybe not get to your level in DJing, but just to get to that next level in something? Because you've done that, you've shown that, especially during lockdown as well. So a lot of people are coming out of lockdown into this new normal, wanting to go to that next level. What advice would you give to them?
I'd probably say that they need to do it for the right reasons. Don't do it for money. That's the first thing. Do it because you love doing it. Do you know what I mean? That's one thing about my journey that's never changed. Do you know what I mean? I started DJing for free. I was on pirate radio for a long time, doing radio for free. Sometimes even having to pay. Back in the day, man used to have to pay subs to go on radio. Like that. Yeah? So do it for the right reasons. And then, do you know what? Upskill. You got to upskill yourself. You got to look and think there's 1,000 other people that want to do what you do in that kind of field. But what makes you different? And upskill, read, educate yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, my whole kind of work ethic is so different to maybe what it was a couple of years ago. Still very driven and still passionate, but I've had to upskill, and lockdown showed me that learning is so key. Like, we're constantly learning. Like, I didn't know how to stream. I've now learned how to stream and make that an extra source of income. Do you know what I mean? So upskill, read, do research, all of that kind of stuff. Look at people that are doing similar stuff in that field and kind of look at their blueprint. You know what I mean? Because they leave a paper trail.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just look at that and just know that in it all, I know it sounds really preachy, people, but you've got to put God first. Yeah? When you put God first in it, I was born and raised in church. At the age of 16, my church wanted me to become like this preacher and get baptized and all of that. I said, nah. Because I just bought my first vinyl. So, like, I want to be a DJ. But you see what God's done? God's made me go full circle. And now I actually have my own church on a Sunday. Imagine that.
That's crazy.
And just fell in. It wasn't planned. You know what I mean? So I was at a 40th birthday yesterday. This young lady came up to me as I was packing up. She said, I'm in Sunday service all the time. And last year you were talking about extending faith. And I was going for a property with me and my partner, and we didn't get it. And I got really upset. And then that Sunday, you were talking about, you know, extending faith and really stepping out. And she said, they took that loss quite badly. 3 months later, they got a bigger house with more rooms for the same money.
It's different.
There you go, bro.
Whole program, how did that start? Why did that start? And what are you trying to achieve?
So in my part-time, because at the time I was part-time at Carphone, so I had a bit of time in the day. DJR from like Rights Academy had hit me up. He's like, look, I'm doing this like after school program thing, and I'm looking for tutors. I was like, cool. Like, I'd never really taught. Like, I've taught people how to DJ, but never really thought about it. Like my cousin, who's like 20 odd now, he was my first mini milk. So he was coming to radio with me when he was 12. Learn how to mix and all of that. So I was like, cool, like I'll do it. I love that kind of whole thing. So I started teaching at a school in Streatham Vale. Big up to Laura, big up to Scott down there at, I won't say the name of the school. But yeah, like I was there twice a week. Fell in love with it, man. Absolutely fell in love with it. Just seeing the joy on these kids' faces. So I was doing that for a couple of years, and then, as I said earlier, Croydon Council and whatever kind of approached me and said, look, we need something specific for our area. And then my guy King was like, look, let's sit down and work out a thing. So we came up with the Hope program. And yeah, like for us, it was really just an idea off the back of the whole kind of George Floyd thing. It was coming up to summer. So we wanted stuff for the young people and children to be able to do. And this was kind of still at the tail end of the first lockdown. So, you know, it was a bit up in the air.
Yeah.
But starting that has really given me a real drive to kind of not only teach people and children and young people how to DJ, but just to really invest in what you want to do.
Yeah.
So for me, again, I'm trying to build my legacy by teaching other people. And for me, it's just one of the best feelings. Like, I don't know if there's a greater feeling. Like, I've been teaching like DJ S-Ray through the Rights Academy, literally from when I started. She was like one of my first. And I never forget like her first lesson. She's like, nah, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then like throughout the years, you know, teaching her, she's now DJing at Night Town.
Yep.
And doing bits and pieces. We have bookings together. So she still like learns with JR and that. But now she's gonna have her own radio show on my station. Like,
that's legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I love about like S-Ray's story is her family, like her mum and dad have really, like, we've become family. So like when she's mixing, sometimes I listen and like I have an actual out of body experience because she mixes just like me. So sometimes when I hear her doing mixes, I'm like, wow, like sometimes when I would do her lessons at home or whatever, she'd pull out a mix and I'd collapse on the floor, like face first, like, what you're, like at the time she was 10. And she was mixing like slow jams and funky house. Like calm. And she's so just chilled with it.
Yeah, she's relaxed.
She's just chilled. Yeah, just
with the lollipop.
Yeah.
Chill with the
and she just does her thing. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's amazing. And now teaching some of my other young people, is great. And I just love being able to be in that position to influence. Do you know what I mean? And I think not only as a DJ can you pass the baton on, but you can turn it into business as well.
Yeah.
So, like being at the Legacy Youth Centre in Croydon now is like, I had my first session there with the youngers the last week, and it just blew their mind. Like, I saw them mixing, and they were like, "Oh my God! Like, you can take that and put that. That shouldn't even go like that, but it does." And yeah, bro, I love it. I love it.
You're opening their mind to new opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to see you do that, as well as all the successes that you've had, that you're someone who's always trying to give back to people. It could be young people, could be older people, but you're always trying to give back. And I feel like that's just amazing to see. And it's inspiring for me anyway, to see someone just like, yo, I can shout this wedding on Saturday, I could do Sunday service, and then I might be teach this kid next week. So I think that's amazing to see. And I feel like it deserves to be congratulated, it deserves to be applauded in what you're doing. One of the things that I just want to really touch on is what we talked about earlier off camera, is you've had events and the reason why I want to ask you like this is you've had events that just haven't gone how you would have expected them to. So I want to ask, because people don't see it, people see the posters, the flyers, and these types of things. How do you briefly talk about that event, but how do you overcome that and become a better person or a better business person moving forward?
So in this game of promotion, DJing, whatever, for like back in the day, for you to get your name out, you used to have to put on events because you couldn't get on. That's where that whole kind of ethos came from for us as a sound. We couldn't get on to the lineups with the DJs at the time. So we put on our own little dances, and you build up your own little following and the momentum and all of that, and then you start noticing that, the phones start ringing and that. But you're gonna put on events and you're not always gonna win. Like, promotion is a very touch and go game. Like, you can win, and when you win, you can win, and when you lose, you can really lose. But again, I think just my whole journey, especially throughout lockdown and the last, say, 2 years, has allowed me to lean heavily on my faith and that. So we've just done this outdoor event made in 90s. So we started the brand, me and my partner Junior, back in 2019. He wanted to do, like, I'm 43, Junior's mid-30s. So he's been doing promotion for like 10 years. So his target audience are getting older.
Yeah.
So they don't want to rave with the 25 pluses. They're now more in their mid-30s, early to mid-30s. And then my target audience is, 30 plus. So we came up with this brand called Made in 90s. Did the first event in about 3 or 4 weeks, promotion, sold out, 400 plus. And then we had another one booked in for mid 2019, but then lockdown came. So then we did the next event, which was earlier this year for my birthday. We sold out. And then before we kind of did that event, an opportunity to have this outdoor event came. So it's phoned me, we've gone to the location. I'm like, yeah, it works. There's a stage there, they've got bar there, they've got food there, all of that. So really all we've got to do is bring the people, the DJs and the little bits and pieces. So we start promoting, got the DJ lineup, people are gassed. People are like, yeah, like a made in 90s, like predominantly old school event, outdoor as well. Let's go. Tickets are moving, bro. Tickets are moving. Things are really like, I'm like, rah, like this could really be a good one. Like, like if this goes well, this could be,
the one that
deposit. This could be like a good, nice chunk to put towards like deposit money for a house, like another, like,
Yeah.
So that's how I'm always thinking. So we then get the phone call that we've got to move the event. So location-wise, so Junior is like, well, we've got to move it. And then he says, we've got to move the date. So
the moving of the event's one thing, but the date is probably even more key.
The date, that's why I gave you the date last. So the moving of the date had now really thrown everything way out. Because where we had it, everything was pretty much there. So now we've got to find a new location within X amount of time, within 12 days. So Junior and his assistant, Selena, they were banging out emails and all of that.
Yeah.
Found this new location, but it's dry hire. It's just the space.
You know what that means? People don't know what that means, you know.
Yeah, so
that means nothing.
Dry hire means you've got nothing there. So it just means that you've either got the location or the venue with nothing there. So a lot of wedding venues are dry hire.
Yeah.
So it means as a couple, you've got to hire in the chairs, the tables, everything, the cutlery. So again, this was just a dry hire space. We've then now got to get bar in, all of that, catering in. We're going to have a few vendors, but they already had their food. The place where we had, you could buy food already. So now we've had to get those in, and then the cost is now spiraling. It's a grand here, it's a $2 grand there, it's a $5 bills there, and it's getting higher. So now we're like a couple days before the event. We're like, look, we just got to go in it. People are still coming. We've had a lot of refunds. Like the refunds, because people couldn't come because of the change of date. So we lost a lot of money doing that. And then the day before the event is when the petrol crisis kicked in. So now some of our suppliers, vendors, etc., can't get stock, and people can't get petrol to get there. So then, like, Junior's having to go to this place to buy a drink and all of that. We're still accommodating and buying enough drink for X amount of people, because we still got this amount of tickets sold. But now, because of the petrol thing, half that, because they can't make it. So that event genuinely cost me like just under 6. Just under 6 grand.
So what was your outlook on that?
I mean, so again, I'm quite transparent when it comes to these things. So on the day, normally I can shake it off because I'm like, I can put on a good show. But this one, I couldn't shake it, bro. I just couldn't. I could not get in the zone. I couldn't get in the space. I couldn't do it. So the whole day, I was placid. I was real, just like calm. Everybody's like, Milksy, you're right, mate. Cool, I'm alright. But I wasn't. And then like I came and done Sunday service the next day, and you were saying like, I was just like,
can't shake it.
Couldn't shake it. I couldn't shake it. You know what I mean? Like, and as like again, like as a man, like, you know, I gotta have that conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, it's like £100 or whatever. I'm like, babes, like, you know what? This one could be a big hit, as in minus. Do you know what I mean? But again, I think it's just allowed me to build character. Do you know what I mean? And just know that these things, they're gonna come in it. Like you're gonna, you know, when I watch the stories of, you know, the Bransons and all of these guys, and they've lost mad money. Some of them have gone into bankruptcy, filed for bankruptcy, and then 2 years later, man's bounced back, and it's just part and parcel of what I didn't really understand, or I never really saw myself as, but as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, this is what it is. So to be in that kind of position, one, I then still looked at it and said, you know what? I was blessed enough to be in a position that I could invest that. Because a year ago, I couldn't have even thought of trying to invest that kind of money. into an event.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing that I was able to be in a position to do that. And again, like it's just built the momentum. The brand is, you know, people still respect the brand and all of that. So for me, I just had to really pray on it, bro. Like I had to really take some time out and just be like, God, you know what? That's a big hit. But the main thing is this month's bills are paid.
Yeah.
There's still some change in the savings account. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not like I took my last and that I was riding everything on it. Do you know what I mean? But there's I try to always look on the brighter side. So I might have been in that funk for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But the hustle doesn't stop. The grind don't stop. And life doesn't stop. And do you know what I mean? Like God's always gonna be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know in some shape or form the comeback is gonna be greater than that situation. So I'm just kind of patiently waiting.
Yeah, man. My last question to you. What advice would you give yourself or encouragement would you give yourself with where you're at now in life?
I'd probably say keep God first. And it sounds like from a like I don't want it to sound like motivational or whatever, but I just look at the why. What is my why? When I wake up, what is my why? My why is my family. My why is, you know, the wife, kids, you know, the why is mom and dad. My auntie Paulette, who's no longer here. My granddad, my grandma, my sisters, my cousins, my nephews, my nieces. You know what I mean? The people I have around me, my team. You know, like they're the why. So just always when you feel like it's a bit too much or whatever, I always kind of go back to the time when, you know, just being with my gran, or just conversations with my auntie P, or, you know, spending time with my granddad in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Those are the times when you think, all right, cool, it's tough right now, but man, got to push through in it. So for me, it's the why. The why is the key, because they're the reason. Because my family have poured so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, even on Saturday, it was my cousin's 40th. And we were all at this, you know, her event. And I said, oh, like, we all need a photo with just the cousins. And it was like 30 of us in this picture. It's powerful, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I will use that and be like, that's a why. You know what I mean? And one of my older cousins, he was a DJ before me. So he was like, to see where you've taken it, cuz, that's a why. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's always, it's about the why. Why are you doing it? Why do you love it? Why is it so important? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then everything else kind of falls into place. That's how I've kind of seen it. Like, I never really thought I'd get to a stage where I'd be doing interviews and people want to hear about my thing. And do you know what I mean? Like, you look at the TV and think, that's for them, innit? But to be in this position, to be here, like with you, that's a big deal to me. Because I remember when I was watching TV or saying, wow, like, when's that going to be me? And now man's living it. So that's why I always put God in it. Like, when I get a breakthrough, I put God in it. When I take an L, I put God in it. Like, for me, that's the main thing, bro. I put God and the why. Family, friends, and those that have really invested and poured. Because I can't pay them back. I can't say to them, yeah, here's a 10 million or whatever. Like, I can't, like, what my parents have poured into me, what my sisters have poured into me.
Priceless.
What my wife, what my cousins, my aunties, uncles, is priceless. And one thing, I went to see Mo Gilligan, Mo the comedian, on Friday. And he done his set, it was amazing. He came back out and he said, I just want to let you guys know that it's not only my life that you've changed, but because of your support, I've been able to change the life of my family, my friends, etc. And that's what I want to do, bro. Like, I want to be able to say to like one of my nieces, you know what? Don't worry about that. Like, Uncle Martin will buy you your car, man. Do you know what I mean? That kind of like, oh, mum and dad, like, you want to refurb the house in Jamaica? Boom, I got that. Do you know what I mean? That's my why. And that's why I won't ever stop. I won't stop until I make it, bro. Like, until I get to that point. For me, that's the key.
Milktray, Martin, thank you very much, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro. On the real, and I want to say to you, just keep doing what you're doing, bro. Like, what you're doing is amazing, and it's needed. And God's got some stuff waiting for you, man. Like, and it's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna blow your mind because I see what you're doing, and you're giving people an opportunity to tell their story and giving them a platform in a really safe space, and making them feel comfortable, and then allowing other people to see it. Because at one point it wasn't really cool to talk about God, or even, you know what I mean, or kind of be in that kind of space, you know what I mean? So for you to kind of step out and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it my way, I respect that highly, man.
Thank you, bro.
Really. So blessings to you and the family, man.
Nah, I appreciate that. I really do. And for you guys, there's some gems that have been dropped here, so make sure you go follow up DJ Milktray, whether it's the Twitch, it's the Instagram, it's the Twitter. You on Facebook? On the Facebook, make sure you go follow up.
High five. Yeah, MySpace.
Bebo one.
Yeah, come on, MSN. You know there was the Black Chat, Milktray, everything. DJ Milktray on all the socials. God bless you all.
This has been Conversation with Haych with DJ Milktray, and we'll have more content for you guys coming very, very soon.